This is Craig Beck from StopDrinkingExpert.com. Welcome into today's video where I want to talk about vitamins and supplements to help you quit drinking and stay quit. Now, I know a lot of people are looking for that one magic supplement or pill that they can take that makes the problem go away. It doesn't exist. You will find people try to sell you such a thing. It's snake oil. It doesn't exist. But there are things you can take that A, make the process easier for you, and B, make it less uncomfortable and help you with the cravings. So let's talk about that today.
Who wants to be the next to discover how to stop drinking without willpower? Visit StopDrinkingExpert.com and grab your free place on today's coaching session.
Now, let's get one thing clear here. It's vitamins, not vitamins. Honestly, I can't win with this word because when I say vitamins, my English friends say to me, what's wrong with you? Have you become American overnight? It's vitamins. And if I say vitamins, my American friends say, what are you talking about, buddy? It's vitamins. So it's vitamins. Let's just stick with what I was brought up with. Now, I will remind you at this point, I'm not a doctor. I am not here to give medical advice. What I am is a former problem drinker who escaped the loop of alcohol addiction using my own means and doing my own thing. All I'm doing here is sharing what worked for me. I am not telling you what to do for your own health. That is your doctor's job. Now, let's get something else very clear here. The title of the video is about vitamins for alcoholics. But also I talk about problem drinkers as well, and there's a big difference between being a problem drinker and being an alcoholic. And that difference is this. Problem drinkers are psychologically addicted to alcohol, as in they are using alcohol on a routine basis to fix something in their life. So they could be drinking every night to de-stress, to relax from work, to get to sleep, to get confidence, that sort of thing. Alcoholics are physically addicted to the drug as well as psychologically addicted. And what this means is their body has become so accustomed to having alcohol in it that it can now no longer function without it. This is a defense mechanism of the body because alcohol is poison. And when you're drinking at that rate, your body has to change. It has to adapt, otherwise you die. And so it tries to save your life by adapting to expecting there to be a poison in the system all the time. Now, the problem here is if you remove the poison, it's too quick for the body to respond properly, and you get severe withdrawal symptoms, which can, in some cases, be fatal. So, needless to say, if you fit into that latter category, you are a full-blown alcoholic, you are physically addicted, you should not be getting your vitamin and supplement advice from YouTube. I encourage you to watch this video, but then speak to your doctor about it and get supervised medical intervention. The first thing to point out and to mention is that drinkers are very susceptible to a vitamin B12 deficiency, and the B vitamins are particularly aggressively attacked by alcohol, and drinkers don't tend to absorb them as well as normal people. In alcoholics, this can become quite severe, and in fact the deficiency becomes so dramatic that you actually start to present with symptoms that appear a little bit like Alzheimer's or kind of a mental breakdown of cognitive faculties. You start getting very confused, you can't remember things, you start slurring your speech, and so on and so on. And this situation is purely down to the vitamin B deficiency, and it's given a name. It's called alcoholic wet brain. It's serious and it can kill you. It needs urgent medical inpatient treatment. And if you're thinking that, if it's a vitamin B deficiency that's causing it, you can just take a supplement. Unfortunately, if you have progressed to the stage where you have wet brain, you need much more than you can get from a tablet. You need to be on a vitamin B intravenous drip, which obviously can only happen in a hospital under medical supervision. So wet brain is a thing. I'm guessing that 99.9% of the people who find this video, it's not going to be an issue for them because those sort of people are generally way past looking on YouTube for solutions to their problems. But if you want to know more about wet brain, if you go to my website, stopdrinkingexpert.com, and you type in wet brain into the article search box there, you'll see there is an article and a video all about alcoholic wet brain. And I talk you through the symptoms to watch out for and what the treatment generally is for that. So that's kind of the disclaimers out of the way. Let me just tell you what I did back when I was a drinker, when I started out on this journey to sobriety. I took several supplements that I researched to help me out along the way. The first one that I think is really important is vitamin D. Generally, vitamin D, well, you need it to feel good, to have strong bones and strong skin and many other things about the human body. I think perhaps the most important thing for us drinkers is mental health. If you have a low amount of vitamin D in your body, you can really suffer with emotions and how you feel. And so you don't want to be going into this process with any limitation on what should naturally be there. Now, something like 80% of the Western world are vitamin D deficient. And that's purely because of the way our lives have changed over the years. You see, you go back 100 years, 150 years, we were all working the fields. We were outside, we didn't have TVs, and so we spent much more time exposed to sunlight, which is where the vitamin D comes from. And since the Industrial Revolution, when we started working inside in factories, and then the birth of TV and internet, these days we're more likely to wake up, have our breakfast inside, get inside a car, drive to work, go sit in an office, maybe eat our lunch at our desk, go home, put the TV on, and eat our meal in front of the TV. We're just not getting exposed to the sun as much as we need to get a healthy amount of vitamin D. And so I strongly recommend that you add this as a supplement if you live in a country where there's not a great deal of sunlight. Certainly when I'm in the UK, I take quite a high dose of vitamin D. I take 3,000 international units a day. And you will notice that is quite dramatically higher than what the recommended daily dose of vitamin D is. I don't want you to worry about that, because that recommended daily allowance of vitamin D is kind of an outdated number. Do your own research on this, but the recommended amount is not the amount you need to be healthy in all areas. It is the amount that is required to prevent rickets. You see, go back 100 years, what they noticed is when they started making children work in factories, that they started to get bow-legged. Their bones weren't forming properly. And it was eventually worked out that it was the lack of sunlight that was causing this. And so they calculated an amount of vitamin D that would be sufficient to prevent that happening. And that is what you see on supplement boxes these days. And you'll see it's low. It's in the hundreds, not thousands. And what I suggest is that you do some research on the healthy amount to take for your body weight. A really convenient way to do it, and what I use is a spray. It's a vitamin D plus K2, vitamin K2 spray. And basically it's 1,000 international units per spray. 3 and done. I can't sing the praises of vitamin D enough. I encourage you to read and research, because so many people are deficient in it, and it makes such a dramatic difference when you have the correct amount of vitamin D in your body. Now, the next thing I took, and I still take to this day, was curcumin, turmeric, because I think it's just a miracle product. There's been some research done recently that has demonstrated that if you take a daily high dose of curcumin, it has exactly the same impact as prescribed antidepressants. Now, that doesn't mean stop taking the antidepressants. I'm not here to tell you that. I'm telling you that this stuff is fantastic for mental health. It's also a very powerful anti-inflammatory, and all disease dis-ease starts with inflammation at some point. Turmeric is fantastic, and I should say curcumin, because curcumin is the active ingredient of turmeric. Curcumin is fantastic at easing inflammation. So if you have problems with your joints, you have arthritis. I have arthritis in my fingers, and this is fantastic for just taking the swelling down and having it feel a lot better. The other fantastic thing about curcumin, and again, do your own research, is it's an anti-carcinogenic. It's fantastic for bowel health and for preventing cancers in the bowel and digestive tract. Still, research ongoing in this area, but the signs look really positive. And it's just a cheap, natural supplement. So why not add it into your diet? It's fantastic. I still take it without fail every day. Next up on the list that I want to talk about is omega-3. Omega-3 is just another one of these supplements that I think is a miracle. You get it from eating oily fish, but you kind of have to eat a lot of fish to get the real amount that you need. And I hate fish, so I'm kind of onto a non-winner there. But so I take 3,000 milligrams of omega-3 every day. Again, fantastic for mental health. Alcohol is, particularly aggressive at dissolving oils and fats. If you spill some oil on your sofa, some water on a cloth is not going to do anything, but a bit of alcohol will. It'll eat it right away. And the same thing is happening in your head. All these essential oils and fats that you need in your brain to feel good and to have your full mental capacity are being washed away by this evil poison. So getting a high dose of omega-3 on a consistent basis is very good for how you feel, for your mental health. Also, it's great for your joints, and it's another anti-inflammatory as well. Omega-3, can't speak highly enough about it. I also recommend you take a broad spectrum multivitamin just to cover all the bases. Some of those you're going to need more than others, like the B vitamins. So I suggest you also take an additional supplement of B vitamins, especially B12, because alcohol stops you absorbing it. But if you're looking for kind of one tablet that takes the cravings away, it doesn't exist. So stop looking for it, because it's not out there. The way you take the cravings away is by changing your belief structure around this drug. The drug itself, alcohol, only has the power to physically affect you for about 14 days. And I talk about this in the course. This is what I call the kick. It's where the drug physically kicks you. It motivates you with carrot and stick. So it makes you feel bad, and then as soon as you drink, it rewards you for compliance by taking away the pain. This is how all drugs motivate us to keep using them. Carrot and stick all the time. But once you get past kind of 14 days, if you get a craving to drink at that point, it's got nothing to do with the drug itself. It's purely psychological conditioning. What that means is it's like Pavlov and his dogs. You know the story of Ivan Pavlov, the scientist. He would ring a bell and feed his dogs. Ring a bell, feed his dogs. Ring a bell, feed his dogs. And eventually he could ring the bell without any food being present, and the dogs would respond the same way. They would salivate and expect to be fed. And the same is true with you and alcohol. You have conditioned alcohol into your brain so that you now have physical pathways in your head that facilitate your drinking. For example, if every time you feel stressed, you drink alcohol, and you've done this over years and decades, you now have a piece of meat in your head that says the solution to stress is alcohol. So now, whenever you feel stressed, this piece of meat in your head activates, rings an alarm bell and says, drink alcohol, drink alcohol. That's why you get the craving. So think about that. You have these little computer programs in your head that you've put there over the years. And now you're looking for a tablet to make physical pieces of meat in your head go away. Even if there was such a thing, it would be very dangerous. So these are two separate things. Supplements to give your body the tools it needs to live in a healthy way. And then the training, the knowledge to understand what is going on in your head and to recondition your brain to a new, healthy, happy, sober way of life. I hope that makes sense. I hope it helps. If you need any more help or advice, please get in touch with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Comment below. I would love to hear from you. And if you're worried about your drinking, get over to my website right now and get some help. StopDrinkingExpert.com.
And it's the only drug on planet Earth that when you get a problem with it, they blame you and not the drug. That doesn't happen with any other substance. If you think about it, cigarettes. You tell someone you're addicted to cigarettes, they don't go, oh, you dirty smokeaholic. You're a broken, weak-willed smokeaholic. You're going to be a smokeaholic for the rest of your life. They don't do that. They don't give you that label and say, well, that's it. You're broken forever now.
I really consider this because it's different. It's different to anything you can find out there, and it gives you real mental freedom from the clutches of alcohol.
I had an email about 6 months ago from a lady. She said, I was thinking about joining your course, but then I've just seen that red wine is good for your heart. How do you defend against that, Mr. Stop Drinking Expert?
If it's in the reader's digest.
Yeah, it must be true. I said, well, the defense against it is it's not true. And that's the biggest defense you can always have.